Well, if you're in a bad mood today because the weather is bad, especially here in the Midwest, and also what's going on in this at this time of year, here's a movie for you that you can put in and start enjoying yourself again. The King's Speech. So The King's Speech stars Colin Firth, Geoffrey Rush, and Helena Bonham Carter. Colin Firth plays King George VI, who has a stuttering problem, and even the best of the best can't help him. They basically screw up everything. So his wife, played by Helena Bonham Carter, goes out of her way to find Captain Barbossa, otherwise known as Geoffrey Rush, who is a speech therapist, to help her husband out with his speech, with his voice. At first, King George VI is not exactly excited for it. He doesn't know how a peasant worker can really help him, but he tends to go along with it, and as the movie goes on, these two basically become good friends, and it's a very enjoyable movie. First of all, Colin Firth and Geoffrey Rush, it could just be them talking in a room, and yet you're sitting there enjoying their small stories, you're enjoying their talks, and how the speech therapist is helping him boost his morale to speak more. Because apparently with King George VI, as this movie shows, he has a problem speaking out because he was kept silent most of his childhood. In fact, his backstory on his childhood was really dark, especially for the royal family. And I'm really glad that he was actually getting the help that he was actually getting. Also, when he starts swearing out of control in a couple of scenes, you're really enjoying it. And I don't know why those alone gave it a rated R rating. But then again, one swearing scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles gave that a rated R rating. So, what can you do? Okay, so now I got all that out of the way, I'm going to talk about the things I didn't like in this movie. Oh wait, I can't think of any. Give me a minute. Okay, what I loved about this movie is the fact that it's a part of history that definitely needs to be told. Especially with King George VI. He didn't last long on the throne and everything because his daughter becomes queen, and she's been queen since the 50s. So I kind of wanted to know a little more about King George VI, and this movie definitely did show that. Especially since his brother was supposed to be the new heir to the throne, but since he fell in love with a married woman and that whole shabam, he kind of lost the throne. King George VI is now on the throne, and well, he's the voice of the people. And how can you be the voice of the people when you don't have a voice? But his therapist keeps telling him, you have a voice. Don't deny yourself all this stuff. You have a voice. You have a powerful voice. You are the king. Just that alone is enough to get you really interested in this movie, and especially when, well, let's just say in Germany there's not a lot of friendly people coming that way, and since 1939 is down the road, I guess they have no choice but to go to war. I wasn't really interested in the World War II part of the film, I'll admit, but it was part of his history, so that's not a flaw in this movie. I mostly just like seeing King George VI building up his voice so that he could speak for the people, and he can lead an entire country. Everything about that was probably my favorite part of the movie. Just the friendship between King George VI and his therapist. I really like that. So guys, in the end, before I start stuttering off myself, I gotta say this movie is definitely a masterpiece. It is so much fun to watch. It is really enjoyable. It could just be two people in a room talking, and it's enough to grab your interest, and that's rare nowadays. So I gotta say, this movie definitely is legendary. So guys, The King's Speech, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.